I work professionally as a research scientist and was delighted with the design of your experiments and your lack of concern about slaughtering sacred cows.
Yeah, I spent 27 years working on an assembly line. Believe me, I have no time for bull. Hey everybody, it is Thursday morning, time for another exciting episode of SMG Viewers Comments, my weekly show where I answer your comments and questions. As always, if you've got a cool question, I'll try and put it on the show, especially if I think it'll benefit the community as a whole. I want to hear from you, so let's get right to it.
What do you mean by get a day job? Are you telling me people have to work in order to have money to spend on stuff? That's ridiculous!
Sadly enough, that is the reality of the situation. I'm sorry, guys. It's just the way how it goes. Most of us aren't going to be able to come out of school and go land a job at a recording studio because most studios are closing because everybody's recording at home. Seriously, think about getting into something else and doing recording as a hobby and using that money you make from your day job to buy gear. That's how I did it. Took me 28 years, but I finally went full time with it. And I'm more than happy to be in the position I am right now. But there was a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and much cursing on an assembly line in between all of that. So for all you guys out there who are busting your asses to be able to even afford a little bit of gear, believe me, I get it. I've been there and I started with nothing too. If you're in that situation, this show is exactly for you.
Hey Glenn! Do you think the Mogami cables are worth the money in terms of durability, or if they're a cheaper option that works better?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I said this a few weeks ago. I haven't actually done an A/B test on cables where I went, wow, that other brand of cable sounds so much better. You know, a lot of it's fucking marketing hype. You know, I hope you guys are smart enough to see through all that shit. You know, you want great snake cable, here's a shielded Cat 6 cable. It'll do 4 analog channels of audio. This is 4 mic cables and will handle phantom. And this costs, I don't know, $10, something like that. Get some of that. I've got my studio wired up with this all over the place. All you got to do is get some XLR breakout boxes. I've got some on order from Toman. I should be doing another follow-up episode on that in a little while. I found the LYX Lex brand on Amazon, and I've got some of that installed right here, right now. Fantastic stuff. Certainly cheaper than wiring up your place with Mogami, that's for sure. Remember, shop smart, shop S-smart. And in this case, the S means Spectre.
For the chuckle fuck that says no one can build a studio on a day job because of $32K a year, get a trade. $12K for 1-2 years of schooling, depending on your area, anywhere from $27 to $65 an hour, and unionized. There's your day job and security blanket.
Agreed. I worked in a union shop for 27 years. Card-carrying member of Canadian Auto Workers, which morphed into Unifor. Still got a lot of good friends at the union. Good bunch of dudes, and they do look out for you. Working in a large manufacturing place like that, I was definitely glad we had a union on our side. More than a couple times, we definitely needed them over the years. Smaller shops, your mileage may vary. Big operations, sure, and definitely trades, absolutely. Now, this is the thing. Looking back on what I did in my career and my life, I probably would have had an easier time of it if I had been an electrician. You know, that's the thing. My dad was an electrician. My grandfather was a welder. My brother's a plumber. You know, I come from a long line of tradespeople, and I don't know, maybe being an electrician might have made things a little bit easier for me. Then again, it might have been a lot harder too. There's no really getting around it. You want to get good gear, chances are you're going to have to work your ass off for it. That's really what it comes down to. But the point being is, with all these kids coming out of all these diploma factories with useless pieces of paper that are not going to find them employment, consider getting a trade, because the world needs electricians and plumbers and welders and pipe fitters and millwrights and all that stuff. We need those kinds of skills in the world much more than we need knob twiddlers. And I'm talking about audio knob, you fucking degenerates. Now, if you're coming out of high school, I'd really recommend that you take a look at a career in the trades, because it might be just the thing you're looking for.
Can you do a general budget tube gear versus budget solid state gear? From what I understand, most low-end tube gear provides light coloration at best.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like, a lot of tube gear needs transformers to get the voltages up to the proper operating ranges. And that's the thing, transformers cost money. Tubes cost money. I mean, there can be some decent cheap tube gear, but most of it does cost a few bucks. I mean, like the reasonably priced stuff here, I've got a Roll Music 500 series opto compressor, and that's tube, and it's got a nice chunky transformer. That's a really nice sounding piece of gear. I've got one of their tube mic preamps as well, all in 500 series. Great stuff. My favorite piece of tube gear is my Gain Lab Audio Dictator, though that winds up on my mix buzzing. Oh man, does that ever sound sweet. Not the most expensive piece of tube gear out there, but not cheap either. But it winds up on most of my mixes these days because it just sounds utterly phenomenal. That's the thing, like a real Pultec's gonna set you back $4,000 a channel, not cheap. I know IGS makes a tube EQ, Gain Lab's got one coming out as well. Those are a lot more reasonably priced. I just recommend those over something like a Clark Technic, which is just basically throwing your money out the fucking window. You're better off with a plugin. So great suggestion. I'm gonna have to look into it and see what I can come up with. And yeah, we'll see where it goes, but I really appreciate you writing in, man. That might be a fun series to do. Thanks so much for the suggestion.
A TV theme song OBB would have shorter vids and bands could parody the TV shows. Lots of potential.
LV, that's a phenomenal suggestion. What is with you guys coming up with the amazing suggestions? LV, that's phenomenal. I think I'm going to do that for the next contest. Just at the time of shooting right now, I'm still working on Oldies But Baddies. I think I got to do one more episode because there are a few people, hey, you didn't get to my video, you didn't get to my video. It's like, okay, I'm trying, but really after this last one, I have to fucking wrap it up and get some prizes out the fucking doors for the people that really did amazing. And yeah, it should be cool. But anyway, that will be coming up. So please keep your eyes peeled for that. Can't wait to announce the winners. Going to be a lot of fun.
Glenn, unfortunately, I'm one of those people that are stuck in a small apartment and I'm stuck to only using drum samples due to my living arrangement and costs, etc. Will the drum samples that you guys have made work well standalone, or are they only meant to be used as a fix for real drum recordings?
I think they're meant to be used to like layer on top your drum recordings. I need to do some tutorials on that and try layering them on some not so great drum recordings so you guys can see exactly what they can do and how to use them and all that kind of stuff. And at the time of shooting this, I still need to follow up on my initial video on them. For those of you guys who did get them, I hope you're enjoying them. I hope you're finding them useful. And yes, more will be coming on that end of things. Now, I assume you're looking for something you can throw into a sequencer and program. It's going to give you all the sounds you're looking for. I think we are working on something like that. I got to get back to some of the programmer guys and see what's going on. All I can say is stay tuned. I think you're gonna like what's coming up. Hey guys, just a heads up, we've brought the Pro Mix Academy Summer Insanity Sale back for 48 hours remaining, just by popular demand. For some of you guys who didn't quite get in on the deals, we've got 2 more days left, today and tomorrow, and then it is gone till next fucking year. So if you want to get your hands on the Motorhead lesson, Total Heavy Guitar, Guitar Tone Mastery, the Ultimate Reaper Guide, check out the Ultimate Rock Mixing Bundle. Only $197, and there are 30 courses in there. There's even an Aquabats track in there. That one's an awful lot of fun. Guitar Tone Mastery, I can't recommend enough. It's the one course that I've actually sat twice through because I just learned so much amazing stuff on there. Scott Elliott really knows what the fuck he's doing, and it's probably the best course I've ever seen on dialing in amp sims. And of course, Adam Steele's Ultimate Reaper Guide is absolutely amazing because he takes you through an entire Reaper project from tracking to mixing to mastering, every single step of the way on how to do it in Reaper, and it's the best course I've ever seen on doing Reaper. Sale ends tomorrow, so grab it while you can. Links in the description. Now let's go to the Butthurt of the Week.
Why is your Metal Archives credits list so tiny? You've barely produced or mixed anything, like 10 records ever, and mostly anonymous garbage, top and wall.
It's because I've been busy doing this show to bother to get people at Metal Archives to go put on my entire discography list. Honestly, I've got better things to do. I've definitely done more than 10 records. That's for sure. And if you do want to check out some of my stuff, check out the first 2 Woods of Ypres records, especially if you're a black metal fan. Those did fairly well. But you are absolutely right. Most of the stuff I've done is by complete unknown bands. Guess what? That's 99% of you guys out there as well. This show is not for the top level professionals who are working with top level professional musicians. This show is for the other guys, the people who actually have to do the production work and teach people how to work in a studio. That's what this show is all about. So if that's not good enough for you, you know what? There's plenty of other shows out there that will suit your needs. But if you're a working class metal producer like I am, this is the place you want to be.
Some of the cockwombles that comment on here, Glenn, could you stop being you? I personally have contributed nothing to this channel and would continue to do so, so I think it's only fair that you do what I say.
Well, as the saying goes, it's far easier to sit around and bitch.
Does a job at Best Buy Home Theater count? LMAO, I'm going to med school anyway. Doctors can buy a $70,000 audio console for personal use. But I loved OER, great school, amazing instructors, and staff.
Hey, Abdul, that's really amazing. Best of luck at med school. I hope it goes well for you. OER is a great school. I've taught drums there on a couple of occasions, been there for a couple of events. It's much more affordable than some of those private for-profit diploma factories down in the US that are going to amount to jack and shit. You might actually learn some skills at OER if you aren't too careful. Can't say enough good things about it. And you American guys, just remember, you've got that exchange rate advantage. So if you're looking to go to recording school, I definitely recommend giving them a call, at least checking things out before signing on the dotted line for a far more expensive school. And that's the thing about some of those diploma factories. They will count working at the stereo department at Best Buy as working in the music business. They certainly did for people who wound up working at record stores and that kind of thing too. Now, I recommended this in the truth about recording school is this. Talk to some actual grads from those schools. Post on some Facebook groups, ask some questions, and find out, not from the recruiter, but from the people who actually experience the schools themselves. What's it really like, and did it open any doors for you at all in the job market? Those are the important questions you need to ask yourself.
I know this channel is geared towards metal, but my pet peeve is receiving a ridiculous number of percussion and keyboard tracks because the artist couldn't make up their mind on sounds to use. This most often happens in pop. I'll get an entire group of stems, each with just one little sound effect that may or not be useful in the final mix, or 11 keyboard pads for options. Make up your mind!
Oh, I know, I fucking hate that. You know, I think it was Alan Parsons said that. It's like, hey, keyboard players, you know what? Give me a left and a right keyboards track. Nothing more. Make up your fucking mind. Absolutely. You know, I worked with Protocol a lot over the years, and they would just love to send me, you know, like 64 keyboard tracks. Here, you figure it out. It's like, oh, thanks, fuckers. It's like, you know, can we just like make this a little bit simpler and figure out what you want where? It's really not that difficult, people. Simplify. It just makes the whole mixing process go so much smoother. Just because you have unlimited tracks does not mean you need to fill up every single one of them.
Hey Glenn, quick question. Do I still have a need for a DI box if I have an audio interface and record the direct from there? I don't mind the money, I just want to know if it'll make a difference.
Well, a high quality direct box will make a difference because you won't be going off your sound card's DI, you'll be going off its mic preamp, which is generally going to give you a slightly cleaner signal. The added benefit is if you buy a high quality direct box, it'll last you your entire life and outlast your interface. I've been using a Countryman since about 2005, 2006, something like that, and I still use it on pretty much all my guitar recordings, even though I've got lots of direct inputs here, even on my Neve 1073 OPX, on the Focusrite Red Line 16, all that. They all have DI inputs, and I still use the Countryman. The added bonus with a DI box is you can split the signal, so you can record direct into the computer, and you can send a signal out to a real amp at the same time. That's something the DI on your computer interface can't do.
If you're recommending people wanting audio careers also invest in some effort into video production skills, then I'd like to request a course on how to edit video. Outside of a few product demos, we haven't seen the behind the scenes of making one of your videos, and that knowledge would be worth $60 to $120 for me, depending on how in depth you go.
Well, thanks, Ruby. I never even considered doing a course on that. You know, that's the thing. There's a million mix tutorials out there. By the way, Pro Mix Academy sale. Follow the link in the description below. Only lasts a couple days. Seriously, if you guys want to see a course, like maybe a 4 or 6 hour course on editing video in DaVinci Resolve, I could probably do that if there's the demand for it. So if you guys want to see that course, please leave a comment below and let me know. Because even though I've never considered doing something like that, I work in Resolve all the time, and I could definitely show you guys how I use Resolve and certain keyboard shortcuts to get through my edits as quickly as possible. Sounds like it might be a cool video, and I'll make it if you guys want it. I just got to know from you. Is it something you'd be interested in buying?
I finally have a studio. It took 20 years to get it together, but it is here. I work 2 jobs, supporting a family, and do music in between and over weekends. If you really want to do something, you find a way. Thanks for the video. I recently almost bought into one of these things, then decided rather to just battle through and pick up tips from pros on YouTube and other platforms. For those that are still standing up after getting knocked down, keep swinging.
Dude, that's a phenomenal saying. I totally want to steal that, but I won't. But yeah, I agree. You know, working on the line for 27 years wasn't easy. And believe me, there were definitely a few times I wanted to quit, most notably during the second Woods V-Prey record. I just hated life during that. Ugh, that was a tough record to do. I really wanted to give up. I remember just laying on the couch and just watching a movie, just feeling terrible about the whole situation. Like, why am I doing this to myself? The easiest thing in the world would be just, you know, give up recording, sit down on the couch on weekends and drink beer like everybody else I worked with. But fuck no, I thought I'd keep pushing forward. Here we are, you know, 15, 16 years later, and by some miracle, I get to do this full time now. And I thank you, the viewers, for that. You guys made this possible, and I'm eternally grateful to every single one of you guys, even the guys who hate my guts. I really appreciate all the engagement. Thank you so very much. You guys made a dream come true, and I'm so very grateful for that. But for you guys out there who are working class recording engineers, that's the trick. Don't stop trying, because even if you don't make a career out of it, it can be incredibly rewarding. There's nothing like somebody comes up to you and says, hey, did you do that record? That was great. You know, that kind of makes it all worth it. And those times you do get the bands in that can really play and really have their shit together, those sessions are absolutely magical, and they make all of it worth it.
Regarding drummers bringing their own kits, more expensive does not always mean better. With good heads and proper tuning, you make a $700 kit sound excellent. I recorded an EP with my band a few years ago in an actual pro studio, and the house kit was a $5,000 Yamaha Maple Custom Absolute kit. The engineer, who has a PhD, chose my $500 Yamaha Stage Customs over his house kit because I had all new heads and knew how to tune. Drummers, get your fundamentals down, and you won't have to spend a ton of cash. Put in the work.
Oh yeah, I've never met a Yamaha kit I didn't like. I had a kid bring in Yamaha Stage Customs like in the early 2000s. I thought they sounded absolutely phenomenal. This is before I brought in the DWs though. Yeah, just a great kit. You've got a great point there. If you've got new skins on and you've got your kit tuned well, even a low dollar kit can sound absolutely phenomenal. I mean, like we shot the DWs out against an old set of Tama Rockstars, and the Rockstars, while they had a bit more overtones, still sounded really good, especially over a mix. I thought they were an excellent set of drums for recording. I mean, like one of the busiest guys in town here, Marty Bach, never upgraded his Tama Rockstars because he never needed to. Now, I've got a brand new set of Pearl Masters maple gums that came in, and I'm super excited to be working with Sweetwater and Pearl on this new drum recording series. It's going to be all about how to record drums for metal mixes in small rooms, because I know that's what a lot of your situations are going to be like, and teach you guys some fundamentals on recording and mixing drums, and hopefully we're going to have some files available for you guys to download and try out along the way. Should be really cool, and I'm super excited to be working with Sweetwater and Pearl on this. I think it's going to be a really cool partnership. Can't wait to unbox these drums. They just came in today on my day of shooting. They're just sitting there, oh, play with me. And I'm like, oh man, I can't wait. Anyway, I'll keep you guys posted on what's going on with that. Should be a hell of a series. Make sure you subscribed and you get updates for that, because if you want to learn how to record drums, this is a series you're not going to want to miss.
Holy shit, Glenn, you look like a freaking model. You must have got all the ladies.
Of course, you're referencing one of my earlier pictures from my college days, and unfortunately, no, it didn't quite work out that way. My personality got in the way.
Well, it seems like all this boils down to is know how to play your instrument.
You think? All right, everybody, that's it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching. You got a question about recording, I want to hear from you. Leave it below. I'm always reading your comments, so don't think you're going to be ignored. I definitely want to hear from you guys. Anyway, one more time, last couple days for the Pro Mix Academy Summer Insanity Sale. It's today, it's tomorrow, then it's over till next year. So if you want to get the Ultimate Rock Mixing Bundle, which it's 30 courses, it's only $197. Grab it today. Links in the description below. And until next week, as always, praise Crumb and crush your enemies. I'll see you next time.